Hello and welcome to my official first vlog of January. And in this vlog, I will be starting out my year reading all of the Once Upon a Time books. Now, Once Upon a Time was a show that ran for 7 seasons, and I was all over that show for the first 3 seasons. It started to go downhill in season 4, and then I stopped watching it season 5. But it had its audience for the whole time. One of the main reasons I stopped watching after the end of season 3 is because they killed off one of my favorite characters, and I never quite forgave them for that. So yes, I was a little bit bitter, but I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, so I have 4 books that I'm going to try and read for this vlog. I've got A Once Upon a Time Tale Reawakened. I have Regina Rising, which is about the evil queen, Regina. Then I have Henry and Violet, which is about characters that I'm not going to spoil if you haven't seen the show. And I have Once Upon a Time Red's Untold Tale, which is about Little Red Riding Hood. So I will see you guys when I actually start reading something. This was just a quick intro so that I could at least remember to do it. And I'll next see you guys once I've started reading. Bye!
I'd like a room.
What's the name?
Swan. Emma Swan.
Emma. What a lovely name.
Thanks.
Welcome to Storybrooke.
Time is frozen here.
Excuse me?
The evil queen did it with a curse. She sent everyone from the enchanted forest here.
Then why does everybody just leave?
They can't. If they try, bad things happen.
It has begun.
Sorry, I'm late. How would you like a glass of the best apple cider you ever tasted?
Why did you do this?
Because this is my happy ending.
Believing in even the possibility of a happy ending is a very powerful thing.
He doesn't know.
That he's a fairy tale character.
None of them do. They don't remember who they are.
Everything we love will be ripped from us while we suffer for all eternity. No more happy endings.
Every story in this book actually happened. You should know more than anyone.
Why is that?
Because you're in this book.
Where are we going? Somewhere horrible.
I'll always find you.
I will destroy you if it is the last thing I do.
Enjoy your stay. Emma.
Okay, so I'm just gonna film this clip from down here because I can't be bothered going to get my tripod. And plus, it is really hot in my library room and I don't want to film in there or get up. So, I have finished the first book for this video. And this book is essentially the novelization of the first season of this show. It's not really an original story, it's literally just an abridged version of season 1. Which I didn't mind because I liked the show. But I was really hoping that it would do because it says A Once Upon a Time Tale, it doesn't say novelization. Normally it tells you if it's a novelization. But I will tell you a bit about the characters. So we have the character of Emma Swan. She is the daughter of Snow White and Prince Charming, and the mother of Henry, who comes to find her and takes her back to the town where this is set, Storybrooke, and because she has to save them from a curse that was cast by the evil queen, who in this town is the mayor, and also the adoptive mother of Emma's son Henry. And then other characters that you've got Rumpelstiltskin, who like is the owner of the town. Then you've got like all the characters like Red Riding Hood, also known as Ruby. You've got Granny. You've got Cinderella, also known as Ashley Boyd. And then you've got the huntsman from Snow White, who in this town is the sheriff. And yeah, and then you've got Grumpy, who's he's like the only dwarf out of all the characters that has an actual character in this show, or at least in the season that they're writing about. And then you've got Belle, who is in this world, the Beauty and the Beast story is between Belle and Rumpelstiltskin. Yeah, so I don't really know what I can say about this book without going into spoilers for season 1 of the show. But yeah, I will say this is pretty much a good abridged version of the show. Even if it actually does miss a few episodes, but you get the main premise of what happens in the first season in this book. So I will give it that. But yeah, as someone who already knew season 1, I was really hoping that this would be an actual story and not just a recap of the series. But I still gave it a 3-star because it's still one of my favorite shows and it is all the characters I like. I just really wish they would have done something else with it.
All new next Sunday. Who's afraid of a big bad wolf?
Hide your children.
Everyone except her.
She's Little Red Riding Hood.
With the little basket.
But even the bravest soul
Let's kill the wolf. We'd be heroes.
is no match
Oh my god, how big is this thing?
for the unimaginable.
What kind of monster is this?
ABC's Once Upon a Time. All new next Sunday at 8/7 Central.
Hello. So it is the next day, and I have finished another book for this vlog. This one is Red's Untold Tale. The characters in this one are Red Riding Hood and her grandmother. This is her when she's 16, like before any of the... This is like a pre-curse life, but yeah, so this is about Red Riding Hood and Granny, and they're trying to protect their town from this wolf that is haunting or hunting in their little village. But no one believes them, except Granny keeps warning people about it, but everyone just thinks that Granny's insane, and Red is just, she's doing what all 16-year-olds do, which is trying to stick by her grandmother, but she's also trying to have some kind of a life, and she's trying to win the affections of this guy in the village, Peter, who was in the show as her boyfriend. So I already knew where that relationship was going. There wasn't like a lot of suspense with that one. I knew how it was going to end. Although all this book did was remind me that 16-year-old girls are absolute bitches. Like, they are ruthless, spiteful, and just all around, they remind me of why I hated high school a lot. They're 16-year-old girls are bitches. Everyone thinks that, look, it's what I always tell people. Teenage boys, stupid, but mostly harmless. Girls can be bitches. But yeah, anyway, this story, the story's based around Red trying to help everyone. Like, she's trying to have this life for herself, but she's also trying to protect and help Granny as well. So yeah, there's this whole, like, the main conflict in this book is the wolf time and trying to get people on side. And also they're trying to save they're trying to save her grandmother's bakery. They're trying to save her grandmother's bakery at the same time. Yeah, so it's a failing bakery, and there's also this wolf. Overall, I did enjoy this story. I actually read it quite quickly. And yeah, I ended up giving it a 4-star because the ending of it just seemed a bit rushed for the most part. And yeah, the ending of it seemed extremely rushed, like everything wrapped up really quickly. And I didn't like that suddenly this girl who's been a bitch suddenly wants to know Red. And I'm like, you can keep dreaming, but you can keep dreaming. Yeah, so I didn't like how quickly that rivalry, like, ceased, because for 97% of this book, you're a bitch to her, and then suddenly you like her. I don't take that. But anyway, overall, I liked this as a companion novel to the show, and I will be back with the next book. Bye!
I'm sorry, my darling, I can't. I have too much work to attend to.
But you never have time to play.
Do you remember what I told you about when I was a child?
Do you mean what it was like to be the miller's daughter?
Yes, I had to work in the mill all day, wearing nothing but rags. But it taught me something important. The only person I could depend on was me. And once I learned that lesson, everything changed.
I'm happy you don't have to wear rags anymore.
Hello. I'm pretty sure it's a couple of days later, but I am in the same spot. And I have finished my third book for this video, which is Regina Rising. This one is about 16-year-old Regina and her relationship with her parents, Cora and Henry. She makes a friend. In this one, she makes a friend named Claire, and then this is about just 16-year-old Regina learning more about who she is and stuff, which I quite liked. But I can't give this one as high of a rating because they changed the way that Ken and Regina met Snow. Because they had implied in the show that the first time they met was when Regina saved Snow from that horse. Because, yeah, they literally introduced themselves. She literally introduces herself to Regina after she's rescued. And then Leopold acts like he hasn't met Regina before. And yeah, so it kind of broke the canon in that sense. I mean, I did like what they were building between Regina and Snow in this. It just quite broke the canon of how they met and what led to and everything that led up to Regina disliking Snow. Yeah, so I have to mark it down for that. Yeah, but it was well written. I have to give it that. But yeah, because of the breaking the canon stuff, I feel like I need to mark it down. So this is sitting at a 3.5 star. And I will be back with the last book for this video. Bye.
Arthur's court is no great shakes. I don't know what great shakes are, but I do know that I like it here.
Okay, it's the same day as my last update, but many, many hours later. And I have finished my last book for this vlog. This one is Henry and Violet by Michelle Zink. This one takes place in between seasons 6 and 7. Before I get into what this one was about, I will fill in the gaps on the characters in this and how we got here. Basically, in the bit that I already told you about the characters in season 1, so I'm just going to put in the new characters. Basically, it was revealed that Henry's father was Neil, who was the son of who was the long lost son of Rumpelstiltskin, who I did talk about in season 1. And yeah, so this story essentially, and I'll talk about the others as we get into it. Yeah, this one essentially follows the characters of Henry and Violet, who were a couple at the end of season 6, and this is about them, this is the story of how they essentially went their separate ways, because that was never revealed. We just came back to season 7 and Violet was gone, and they gave Henry a new love interest. But yeah, essentially Violet came in from the Camelot. Yeah, from the Camelot storyline, which I'm not going to get into because it's not really relevant to this specific story. But yeah, her and her dad moved to Storybrooke, and she started dating Henry. And this one is about, they're on a field trip to New York, and they're trying to track down an old antique that belonged to Violet's father, because she wants to cheer him up. And yeah, essentially they have to sneak away from their chaperones, who are essentially Emma, Henry's mum, Mary Margaret, Henry's teacher / grandmother, and Captain Hook / Killian Jones, who is Henry's new stepfather. Yeah, who's Henry's new stepfather, which is a really long story that I'm not going to get into. But yeah, so they essentially sneak away and they explore New York, and this is about Violet wanting to see more of the world and Henry having to accept that they won't necessarily be able to stay together for forever like he was hoping. He needs to let Violet go out and see the world on her own, and he also needs to figure out what he wants to do in the future. We do see where he ends up in season 7, but yeah, this was a good way to fill in the gap of how this relationship ended. And yeah, it's well written. Oh, damn it. I'm giving it a 4-star because it was a very good fill in the gap story, and I think it was quite realistic. And with that, that's the end of this quick January video. And I will catch you guys in the next one.